It's the final round of the regular season of ChampCar iRacing Series in 2025. This is the iRacing League of the ChampCar Endurance Series. Real wheel-to-wheel racers and aspiring drivers battling it out across the year on iRacing for competition, for practice, and also for prizes. And it finishes here with round 12 at beautiful Road America, where it is, I would say, except for that wind, an absolutely lovely day. And this is America's National Park of Speed. Over 4 miles of sweeping high-speed racing. 14 turns, depending on how you count them, and they do love to count them here. We've got a 1-hour race ahead of us to decide the championship and the prizes that go with it, and hopefully in this BMW M2 we see some great racing along the way. We're live on HJ and ChampCar Live. David Haynes with Devin Peters to bring you live coverage of the ChampCar iRacing Series from Road America.
Road America. America's National Park of Speed. We're going to watch these guys go flying up and down straightaways, under the cheesy bridge. We're going to have a great time today. I love me some Road America.
We're 5 minutes from getting the racing underway, and that's qualifying at the moment, where Ryan Puxel is on top. This is the bend layout that many a club racer will be familiar with here at Road America, but maybe not NASCAR, IMSA and IndyCar fans. It cuts out that sweep there, which can wreck many a car. Ask Joseph Newgarden or many other drivers that have just committed a little bit too much to it, put one tire into the grass and had monumental accidents at sometimes north of 120 miles an hour. Not something that these BMW M2 drivers are going to have to worry about. Ryan Puxel on top from Jared Collins, from Michael Polasek in third at the moment in this qualifying session. We've got 24 drivers, and word must be out because 6 of them are Canadian.
Yeah, it's, big promotions up here, and, people all ready to go racing, seems like. All excited to get racing with the ChampCar iRacing Series. The snow's already on the ground up here, so no real-world racing happening out here.
One can still go out for a rip, though.
Oh, buddy, there's snowmobile racing, let me tell you.
Oh, I know there is. So a new quicker lap comes in from Ryan Puxel up top at the minute. This is Jared Collins. Across all of the different cars that we've raced this season, one consistent thing for Jared Collins has been his love of ground beef with seasoning, liquid cheese and other condiments.
Oh man, all the finest things. Get some brats. You could make some really creative dishes if you engaged all the sponsors between the vehicle and the track. And he's showing off that bend for us as he comes down the straight just after, heading into the best corner on the track. What corner is that, Dave?
Australia corner.
No, that's upside down. And continues on his way up to the final bend. Road America is definitely on my racing bucket list, but there's plenty of tracks on the ChampCar series in the real world that are on the bucket list. I think I'll have to make my way out to Road America one day. David Haynes, what's the next one on your bucket list?
Can I just perpetually have Mount Panorama on my bucket list? Because every time I go, I want to go again.
Fair enough. Oh, and you got to see a classic this past weekend, didn't you?
It's a good track, and then sometimes the racing, the weather, everything combines to make it the greatest conceivable place to go racing. It's pretty good. It's pretty special. I'm trying to find a particular thing lest I have to paraphrase. Yes, so I'm gonna have to paraphrase what I saw, which was every now and again Taco Bell will put meat, cheese, and tortillas in a new shape, and you just have to go down and check out what it's about.
Fair enough. Yeah, I totally understand that. My rural ass neck of the woods recently got its Taco Bell, and it has been a wonderful thing.
Is it not too spicy for Saskatchewan?
Oh, I'm all about the fire sauce, sir. Anyways, talking about meat sponsorships, we got the Salins car driving under the other meat sponsor that shall we not be named.
Yes, it's sort of a Midwest hot dogs versus Northeast hot dogs type of situation, I think. Is it a division rivalry?
I'd say so, yeah. Except if you compare the products, of course. But either way, he's out there putting in laps. There's a lot of cars still putting in laps, even though we're getting kind of close to the checkered flag. In fact, the checkered flag is just waved. It's not stopping Kyle Robertson from putting in a little bit of a lap, though. Just gone purple in that last section, by the looks of things.
Yeah, Kyle Robertson is picking it up somewhat here, needing to improve on a 2-minute 30.7. I have a feeling like he probably will. There's just a teeny tiny bit of water standing around in a couple of places, but surely that's clearing as we go. So he straightens it up onto the front straight, long run from that final corner up the hill to where the timing line and the checkered flag is, and it's waving for Kyle Robertson right now. And he'll cross and jump up to fourth with a 2-minute 30.4.
Yeah, nicely done there. Good quality lap. Ian Giebler's on a bit of one too. He comes closer to the end of his lap there. Oh, and in fact, I think he's just crossed the line. Anyone else putting in a good one? Orlando Harrell looks like he's on a bit of one. He's taking his way through Canada Corner. And I think the sun's just peeked out for him, even though it's still a little damp on the track.
Perhaps a tiny bit wide out of the final corner, a mistake many have made. Perhaps Joseph Newgarden. Can't remember who did it this year. There goes Orlando, and that is a PB. He sits 12th, but it's really close in that group of the field. So from Bowie Suin in 8th, 231.2, to Sean Young Dilworth 231.3, and then Cameron Sennhauser, Tim Wyer, Orlando Harrell, Kevin Collins all on a 231.5, to Kevin Glass on a 231.6. It's so close between those drivers right in the middle group. Checker flag is waved for everyone. I don't think anyone is left on track. We're heading towards a 1-hour race with a compulsory pit stop at Road America. We've had 3 different cars this season in use: the Toyota GR86, the ND Mazda MX-5 Miata, and this BMW M2 CS Racing. This is the fastest of the lot of them, with the turbocharged inline 6, almost 400 or so horsepower. There are a couple of these around doing track days, doing SRO Americas racing and other things like that. So there's a handful of them in North America. There is a lot of them in Germany where they race on the Nordschleife and other endurance series. For whatever reason, I don't know where or when it started, everyone knows that the iRacing flag man is Barney. That's Barney. He's got the checkered flag. He's beating it like it got damp and he's trying to dry it out.
That's a guy who loves to wave a flag, you know, and you really appreciate a guy like that.
I've heard that he's also spread his wings and his fame in the new NASCAR 25 video game that released recently. So if you want to see him waving his magic in more places, including on your console, I believe you can now.
Yeah, and I've heard that that nice NASCAR game also features the same iRacing physics engine. So if you're, a little bit of a racing enthusiast, and you want to get a taste of the iRacing life.
I had an idea it was a little bit more of the Monster Games physics engine, but it was iRacing's scan data and art, and it's sort of the mix of the two. But I haven't played it yet. I've just heard other people talking about playing it. We're lining up
a little bit of a taste.
The grid for our full formation lap here, all 4 miles and a tiny bit of change of Road America, and this is that grid. Ryan Puckdell with a 2 minutes 29.8 is starting up front. The points leader Michael Polasek in third, just ahead of Kyle Robertson, Sean Roberts and Ryan Carwile. Ian Giebler in seventh, and this really tight and competitive as well. From 8th, Bowie Suin to LaShawn Young, Dilworth, Cameron Senhauser. I read these times out earlier, including Tim Wire, Orlando Herrell, Kevin Collins, Kevin Glass, Caden Parks Miller, and Andy Cosick. Then the rest of our drivers was Byron Hayes, Brian Tidd, Logan Senhauser, Matt McGee, and then I think John Nicholford, Steve Hermé, and Cindy Pickett were the last drivers with qualifying times. In 24th, some things can't be helped. Devin Peters has accidentally parked his car on the wrong side of the paddock wall, and he's in the race rather than in the spectator car park. Whoopsies. Aaron Reed, no qualifying time, but he ought to be racing.
It's a really nice car. What can I say?
Just because you came to the game wearing the team jersey with your name and number on the back doesn't mean the coach is going to put you in, okay?
That's the beauty of racing. If you got enough money, you can race anywhere. There's a certain Canadian driver that really illustrates that, but we won't name any names today.
And congratulations, Nicholas Latifi, on achieving your degree. Did you see he graduated recently? I'm so proud. He had the hat, he had the papers. I can't remember what he studied. It's something business, because of course it is. Congratulations, smartest F1 driver to have ever lived, Nicholas Latifi. We're rolling on the formation lap. Let's take a reminder of where the points stand heading into the final round of the championship before we kick over into some endurance races in a couple of weeks' time. Michael Polasek, he has been near perfect. After 11 rounds, he has won 9 of them, and he is, based on the way the drop rounds are counted, functionally, mathematically unassailable. But there have been some other great drivers and great performances this year. It's so touch and go, nip and tuck between Ryan Puckdell and Jared Collins. Just 5 points between them in second and third. Kyle Robertson, Ryan Carwile, Ian Giebler, Tim Wire, Alex Harrison, Bill Woods, and Bowie Suin complete that top 10. And boy, is it pretty close between 5th place Carwile and, I guess, 10th place Bowie Suin. All season long, the pace car has been the Mustang FR500S. And again, it leads us, but it's not the last time we're going to see Ford Mustangs this year in the ChampCar iRacing Series, as the GT4 will be in the Endurance Series alongside the Porsche Cayman and BMW M4. So our Porsche fans, Mustang fans, BMW fans can take their pick of those three. Forum.champcar.org, the information is all there with a little more to come and to be revealed. My goodness, I've just looked at the weather radar and I can see color. Race. How far into the future do I need to look? That is looking like a 50% chance of rain before the end of the race. You can see there has been a little bit of rain earlier in the day. It's sitting in just a couple of little places, but predominantly the racetrack is dry and the sun is out right now. But that will not necessarily be the case for the 60 minutes ahead of us. Ryan Pocktel and Jared Collins at the front row of the grid. Michael Polasek and Michael Robertson are the next row. There are wet tyres available for this car. No one is on them right now, of course. But will some people think about it?
Gotta be ready for a little bit of water.
Devin Peters, have you looked at the radar? Have you looked at the radar, Devin?
I was just looking at the possibility.
You look at that. I will look at the starter's gantry because the Ford Mustang FR 500S pace car is in 2x2, a rolling start for the final round of the ChampCar iRacing Series in 2025. Pucktel on the inside, Jared Collins on the outside. Green flag is now, and we will get going already. Looking to the inside, Michael Polasek right up against the concrete wall, 3 wide, the race lead, heading down towards turn 1 at Road America. Polasek will sneak in there around the outside. Michael Polasek goes, and Ryan Pucktel is back into third right now.
Yeah, Polasek wastes no time getting to the front. It's a clean start.
Out of turn 3 we go underneath the Sargento Cheese Bridge. Their headquarters are just south of here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And then we head to the biggest braking zone of the lap, which is turn 5. It's after a long straight. It's downhill into a tight corner. You're on the brakes, trying to pull the car up, and gravity is just making you want to run on a little bit.
Deep move there from Caden Parks Miller. He gets the braking a little bit long and a little bit wrong, and he makes some contact with Kevin Glass. Deep in the field, everything is still pointed the right way, but I think there's a few fenders that are a little worse for wear.
And the grass is wet, the curbs are wet, something to be careful of. Yeah, that curb's a bit wet. Michael Polasek leads us towards... Is it called the carousel? It's got to be. Any long corner like this has got to be called the carousel.
It is.
Matt McGee has gone around at the end of the hurry down, so he'll be the last car rolling, but it doesn't look like there's too much damage on it, and these BMW M2s are built pretty solidly. This is the look. Oh, friendship. Barney, what's his catchphrase?
I don't remember Barney's catchphrase. I'm sorry.
It's crazy to say this. I don't say this very often. I think I'm too young.
That might be the last time you get to say that. I'm teaching some kiddos right now that, well, heck, they told me they were born in 2014, and that was distressing. Anyways, we'll stick to race cars.
Yeah, they never age. Michael Polasek leads Jared Collins, Ryan Pucktel, Kyle Robertson, Sean Roberts as the top 5. Orlando Herald's made a couple of spots on that opening lap, so has Kevin Glass. And we saw how Caden Parks Miller made 1 or 2. We're all rolling 4 miles later.
If you see a gap, David Haynes. Speaking of, we're seeing a gap right there. That looks like Cindy Pickett having a look at Logan Sennhauser, but Logan's going to have the upper hand. I've been informed by the producer that it was the other way around. Anyways, we'll keep it going.
Barney and Friends aired from 1992 to 2010, so I feel like its peak was in the early parts there, and I was just Might have been 2 when it was best for kids that were aged 4 or 5. Something to think about. Still very wet in the runoff and the curbs at the minute. Got to be so careful there through that fast right-hander for all of our leading group here. Again, another downhill long braking zone. It was the outside, far side of the curb where all that moisture is hiding in the ripple strip that did catch out Matt McGee. Oh, and now it catches out Kevin Glass.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's just a few people that are still, they're seeing all the sun and they're thinking the track is dry, but they're getting caught out here and there. We'll see Kevin here, comes down, makes a relatively nice line through the corner, but once you get to the exit curb, it'll make you pay for it. He might have tried out the gravel too.
Yeah, more than just the exit curb. It was the grass, it was the gravel, it was those bits. Out of the bend. That's Cameron Sennhauser. Orlando Harrell, Caden Parks-Miller's made another spot. Tim Wires there in 13th.
Yeah, and we're seeing the leaders put on some pace here. Polisek is starting to build a bit of a gap. He's doing his best. He's got Jared Collins on the toe. Ryan Puckdall is doing his best to keep up, but just barely holding on to the draft right now. The rest of the top 5, we got Kyle Robertson, Sean Roberts, and Ryan Carwile. With Ian Giebler hanging on as well.
One of the art car BMW liveries in the middle here, where they put a picture of the BMW on the BMW and then put another picture of the BMW on the BMW. And it just stacks all the way down.
Very art.
My favourite BMW art livery is the one that ran at Daytona, and on one side of the car was a giant coloured dot, and on the other side of the car it just said fast. It's like, if, adding stickers from eBay gives you 5 horsepower, writing fast should give you like 20.
I like that. I'm not sure I've ever actually seen that one. I need to go look for it.
And then there was another one where they put a picture of the car on the side of the car, so you can look at the car while you're looking at the car. Some interesting ones. I don't have a lot of thoughts about art, but sometimes it's funny and that makes it cool.
I always liked the color burst one that I think it ran around 2010. It's got like all the streaks coming down the side.
And that was kind of like a throwback to like a 1979 one or something, I think, on one of the BMW M1s.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. It looks good though on that M3 GT2.
One of the first cars that RLL ran in IMSA before they no longer run BMWs now. 15 years of them. So we've got a couple of packs here, as you always would expect from these cars. 3 for the race lead, 4 for 4th place. That's where we're looking at the on Young Dilworth. And then Cameron Sennhauser still leading that group. I don't think Sennhauser, I forget which one's the younger one, I'm sorry. They're not that far apart in age. Didn't get a particularly great drive off the final corner. LaShawn Young Dilworth, Caden Parks-Miller is going to look to the inside. And has the nose in front, heading towards turn 1. That's how you want it, the inside line and to be ahead. A good way to try to make a move stick. But that inside curb's a tiny bit wet. I think there's a little bit of grip around the outside. The two of them will exchange just a tiny bit of door as Tim Wire and Orlando Harrell watch on. Eventually, Cameron Sennhauser settles to keeping that.
Caden Parks-Miller is not afraid of a move up the inside though here. We'll see if Cameron gives him the line.
down to turn 5, looking for the inside. Again, look for how early the brake lights come on before the crest of the hill, braking all the way down the hill.
King gets it wound up this time.
I think that's about sealed it. I think that's enough to do it. Underneath the Corvette bridge. Still damp. Every time you've passed the red and yellow curb and you touch those black ripple strips, those are still quite treacherous, it seems. There, down the bottom of the hill here, there's a big one on the outside of Canada Corner. This is a look at the onboard. My favourite piece of trivia fact of the BMW M2 CS Racing is that the BMW key fob is strapped with Velcro to the center console because these still use the road car ignition. Push to start, baby.
You get a good look at the onboard. I think you might even be able to see that. But
it's just below where the gear shifter is, unfortunately.
Ah, dang it. We'll see if we can find it as we cycle through the cameras here, but either way, they're kind of nifty that way. And I guess that's one way for a manufacturer to make it so you don't need a Honda or something to go and hack in all their files to make your car work.
Overall, very similar to the road car. I believe things like the traction control, stability control is the race mode of a road-going BMW M2. The engine is somewhat specifically tuned to fit within multi-class racing classes, but the transmission is also the road car transmission with the paddle shifters. Up front here, Jared Collins sneaking just a little bit closer to Michael Polasek.
Does look like Collins maybe learned a little bit of something. And if we've learned anything from the first 11 races of this series this year, it is that being in second place during the first stint is a good place to be. Michael Polasek's made an art out of saving enough fuel to win some of these races on a quick pit stop. So we'll see if Collins or Puckdell are able to use that knowledge against him.
One of the differences from a BMW M2 CS that you might see parked outside a dentist's office to this one is the gigantic fuel cell that the racing car has. It's a number of gallons. It might almost be 30 gallons.
Seems like just putting the biggest fuel cell possible is the name of the game in all these new race cars, right?
Well, it makes sense for this car because it was always intended to race things like the Nürburgring 24 Hours and Creventic endurance races. But for the Toyota GR86, I'm not sure that it was as necessary. They weren't really planning on that category taking on the Daytona 24.
Oh, well, we just know they'll make great champ cars one day.
That then becomes the question: do these have a VIN?
I feel
like they must. Yeah, they must.
I think there might be some other rules that exclude them, but maybe they'll be changed by 2040. Either way. Get some classic Road America racing here. Just a little weave down the straightaway. And cars flying into the corners at 145 miles an hour into turn 1.
We have had a couple of drivers pit. So Tim Wire is pitting now. Kevin Glass pitted with the damage that he sustained before the carousel, knocking the front bumper off and doing a lot of damage. Not sure on Byron Hayes' strategy, but for Tim Wire, I don't see any damage. He was just part of that group. He was at the back behind. So there he goes to the pit lane. You can see that the refueling coupling is on the left-hand side of these cars. Don't know if they've got the ability to move it side to side like GT3 cars and other race cars. You do need to take a lot of fuel, so it takes some time, and Tim Wire spent about 30 seconds, basically exactly 30 seconds. Away goes Tim. Like same tyres, just fuel from what I could tell. Our top three come out of the carousel. You got to remember to go to the right hand side of the road and brake heavily for the bend rather than staying left and anticipating the fast kink. And the curbs are a little tighter, a little narrower, easier to touch some grass there through the bend compared to the main configuration. So you really do want to navigate that tight little switcher direction. Straighten it up, put the power down and straight here.
Don't worry, David Haynes. Our virtual racers never have to touch grass. A lot of rocks, though, apparently, coming off of Canada Corner there.
I've pulled out the handy-dandy calculator here. And so we are doing straight line speeds of approaching 148 miles an hour in these cars. So if you get a good slipstream like Sean Roberts has got, or like Jared Collins has got, this long front straight, you look for a little bit of a tow, a little bit of a slipstream. Roberts passes 130 miles an hour, passes 140, almost to 150, but not quite. These cars, the horsepower that they've got, they really do just kind of keep pulling in a straight line. They don't accelerate super rapidly out of a corner, but they've got that characteristic of a very flat power curve where they kind of just keep going.
Yeah.
Significantly BMW M8 GTE.
Speaking of fast things, we got one of those in second place with Jared Collins setting the fastest lap of the race with a 2:28.9. First driver to break into the 228s this time by with a little bit of help from the draft.
Let's look with him. His gear selection. It's fifth, fourth, third. Unlike some of the other cars where you've got to be, H pattern selecting all of your own gears, it's like a dual clutch automatic controlled by paddles in this car. So that part's all relatively simple. The braking and the traction, not so much. So turn in down to second there, but it takes just a little bit of steering to control it as you power away through the gears. It's the same racing dash installed there that you actually find in the Audi RS3 TCR. It's an AIM MXL of some kind, but I haven't read their website, their product list recently enough to know. But it's a common and popular bit of racing kit.
Colin's looking pretty under control right now, as he's chasing Polisek here.
They got the wipers, and you can see the button, the dial for them. Radio, wiper, dim, high. So this is almost the fastest part of the racetrack approaching turn one here. And Ryan Puchtel sets a new fastest lap of the race. So as we go, the sun remains out, the track dries off a little bit. They burn through the significant amount of fuel that they've got. Far thirstier than a ND Mazda MX-5, these BMWs. Got to factor that into the total cost of ownership, which is something people neglect.
Kevin Collins and Brian Tidd are having a bit of race. Back deep in the field. This is 15th and 16th place. Collins got a hell of a run out of the last turn and was trying to put the move on the inside of Brian Tidd there. And we'll see if he's able to get another one. There's good racing to be found out here. Looks like Colin's chance may have passed, though. We'll rejoin when he's ready to make another move. Another battle on track we've got is Orlando Harrell and Cameron Sennhauser going at it for 11th and 12th place. Orlando was defending aggressively coming out of that would be turn 5. Corner numbers around here are a little wonky. Either way, I think we'll see what Sennhauser does coming in, but it's kind of a hard corner to make a turn at the bend. Harder still to make an overtake. Ooh, and a little bit crossed up with Sennhauser on the exit. But we got people, throwing punches back and forth all the way up and down the field, Haynes.
And I'm looking at the radar, and I think it says rain 20 minutes away. And you can look at the top left of your screen, and it says there's 40 minutes left of this race. And so where that falls around the pit window, strategically, very, very interesting.
Yeah, I gotta think you want to try and stretch it, but with the limited starting fuel, I wonder if anyone will be able to stretch it out that far. And I have a feeling that as soon as we get to the rain, there's going to be a big change in the complexion of this race. Right now, things are pretty nose to tail, pretty straight line. Kyle Robertson shown here, holding off Sean Robertson, Ryan Carwile. They're 4th, 5th, and 6th as it runs. But fast in the dry does not always equal fast in the wet. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys have once that water comes overhead. And we'll be expecting it to show up from the west here, I think.
Yes, which means from the bend
around
first.
Here. Yeah, right around here is where we'll expect it. So nice big puddles for these guys to splash through.
Quack, quack.
Caden Parks Miller, not a duck. But Bowie Soon might be a sitting one if Caden has his way.
Yeah, so now they begin to build up speed. I think Parks Miller has just a fair chance, fair claim to the inside of Canada corner here, and might almost let that one go. Hard to say. Parks Miller goes to 9th.
Nicely done. Couldn't have picked a nicer place to do it. Out front, Polasek is still holding on to the lead. We're looking at Ryan Carwile hitting the pit lane from the top 10. But out front, Polasek, Collins, and Puckdell are starting to tighten up a little bit. Looks like Puckdell's putting maybe a little bit of pressure onto Collins this time down into turn 5. Goes too wide and making his move. Maybe it's the time. Puckdell certainly seems to think so. Gets it woed down. and hits the apex, but better run goes to the car on the outside, and this is a set of corners where that could be a big advantage. Under the Corvette bridge, though, Pucktel's going to hold and take the inside line away from Jared Collins to get the better exit. You can do it at turn 5, but you can't do it at 6. Collins dropped back to 3rd place.
Took both of them a little bit of time there, so now Michael Polasek leads by 1.4 seconds. And I think that's growing just a little bit through the carousel with some slightly different lines, trying to balance the weight on the nose to make it continue turning through this almost never-ending right-hander.
Yeah, dangerous thing to do, let Polasek get a lead like that. We'll see if these guys are able to sort it out. Luckily, there's 1 or 2 drafting zones between here and the end of the lap. Sean Dilworth looking like he's under a little bit of pressure from Caden Parks-Miller.
Ryan Carwell's the highest running driver to have made a pit stop at this point, so ahead of Tim Wire and Orlando Harrell, who just stopped. We saw Wire stop early, and then Harrell has just stopped and ended up behind Tim Wire. This is a group of drivers that haven't stopped yet. Gee, someone's brought a whole chunk of gravel there.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I think someone stopped and grabbed a shovel.
Crazy. Everyone's coming in now. So Michael Polasek, Ryan Pucktel, Jared Collins, the top 3 all in. And then Kyle Roberts and Sean Roberts and Ian Giebler, the next group. And how about that group of Young Dilworth, Parks Miller and Sewin? They're all pitting. The sun is out right now, but if you look to the west, is that a famous quote? Rain is coming. It is curious.
Like, I don't have enough experience on the tires in this M2, Haynes. Do you think that they can make wets last for 15?
There's a lot of tire changing happening with this group of drivers. Yeah, so Pucktel, Collins.
Is 20 minutes of rain going to be enough to justify wet tires? There's some things up in the air here.
And how heavy is the rain? And how far away is the rain? Everyone here on slick tyres. We thought that Matt McGee had actually gone to wet tyres, and I think that's factual. So maybe he'll look really clever if this rain does arrive and is heavy. Normally, I say the right tyre for the right time. You can lose so much time being on the wrong tyre at the wrong time that if you do just wait a couple laps and then go to wet tyres, you probably get back the time that you've lost. So Orlando Harrell ends up just ahead of Parks Miller, who had a slightly long stop. Michael Polasek still leads. He's got 2 seconds over Ryan Pucktel. Jared Collins. Where has Collins lost this time? It's not through the lane. Is it on the exit?
Yeah, it looked like he was falling back a little bit as they were exiting. And it's just left a lot later than the other two. Here's maybe the guy who was burning the most fuel trying to keep up with Polasek through that first stint.
He entered right with Ryan Pucktel, and then I see identical pit stop times, but they can't be.
Did he have to do a backup on the stop at the start of it, maybe? That's the only thing I could think of. Either way, that's put him back a few seconds, the better part of 6 seconds from Polasek now, so it's a 2-car battle up front. And at that, a pretty loose one with Polasek nearly 2 seconds up on the likes of Pucktel. But 2 seconds is a small gap, all things considered, if a little bit of water falls.
Well, don't go chasing those. Oh, that's out wide at Canada corner from Sean Roberts. Ryan Carwell goes by. Ian Giebler will be at the inside of the sweep uphill and past.
Someone should tell Sean that the water hasn't come down yet. But there is just an absolute mountain of gravel on the track over there. It is it's getting kind of crazy.
After a 36-second stop, Caden Parks-Miller is making a couple of passes for the second time. So is past Orlando Herald now, is looking at Tim Wire, who is 10th. Everyone has been through the pit lane once now at this point. Matt McGee on wet tyres has done a 2:38. The cars around him on slicks have done 2:31s, 2:33s. So you're losing 5 seconds a lap, and the pit lane transit time here is about 30 seconds. Then you need the rain. It certainly looks like wet tyres on a dry track. Maybe it helps with the gravel. Maybe the gravel is going to fill in the tyre grooves. You do need the rain then to arrive sort of within 6 laps of putting on those wet tyres for it to save you the time of a second pit stop.
I've been watching my compatriot for the last few laps, and I think the gravel trap is just part of his line in honor of all the grid roads in Western Canada. For folks unfamiliar, grid roads are just gravel roads on every mile marker. From the era when Canada used the imperial system.
So, where are all the Canadians in this race, Devin?
Well, one of them's in the pit lane. That's me. And then there's about 5 guys ahead of me. Yeah. And they're just waiting. They're waiting for the snow to come down where they can really flex their muscles, I think. We've got Cindy Pickett running around at the back of the field with, I believe that's Matt McGee and Steve Metz in the vicinity. Matt McGee on screen. And just ahead of that, we got Kevin Glass, John Nicholford, Brian Tidd.
This is Nicholford and Glass coming through the carousel and then changing to the other side, putting on the brakes. Feels unnatural if you're used to the regular layout of Road America, but so you got to get your muscle memory on the bend.
You know, really, this is kind of like an away game for all of the Canadian players, and they're just doing what the Blue Jays do, where they start slow, but man, they come back in the second half.
I would love some tickets to the Leafs, tickets to the Jays, and there's Nicholford, part of the gravel redistribution system. And around the outside goes Kevin Glass to take it back.
Yeah, we got a lot of grader operators up in Canada smoothing out the roads.
You've also got Greater Ontario, Greater Toronto. No, yeah. Never mind.
Yep. I don't think they know about race cars in that part of Canada. Either way, we've got a replay of some action. This is Cameron Sennhauser.
At turn 3, the rear brakes too early as he came in with a bit too much speed. These daffodils and whatever else grows if you let it.
And crucially, that move has allowed the other Sennhauser, Logan Sennhauser, to get ahead. So we've rejoined the Canadian battle here, but and actually that looks like that might be a move. That's a big move. That's John Nicholford making a big move into no, that's turn 5, not Canada corner. And Kevin Glass being very generous, I'd say.
It looks like he got a little bit of the curb around the outside and then ran long into turn 5 as well. So he picked up just a little bit of the water hiding in the curb. That wasn't a problem for John Nicholford, who moves ahead, if only just for the moment. Lead gap. Oh, well, for more than just a moment, because that is a mistake, and we've seen happen before to Kevin Glass, is to run too wide there. Oh, it's a very sad looking BMW.
Yeah, do you want that front part to be attached? You don't want the front to fall off.
You know, there's an Australian documentary about that. Very important watching. For poor Kevin Glass as well, he's done that before, and so it might be a longer repair to get it fixed this time. Tim Wire in the top 10, Caden Parks-Miller with a bit of a run down the front straight. More than a bit of a run. Here he goes to inside of the top 10 and to turn 1 and ahead. And he just got to do the rest of the work, which is keep the car on track.
Nicely done there from Caden. Nice little bit of side drafting as he came past 2.
This is the Sennhouses. Just ahead of Andy Cosick, Cameron and Logan. Logan qualified higher, but Cameron's in front right now.
Logan doesn't like that, I think. Putting a lot of pressure on the sibling.
He runs wide out of 5, has a snap across those damp ripple strips, gathers it up top of the hill past the Corvette bridge. Well, it's starting to dry out in that ripple strip on the outside there. Fast Kink leads downhill. Always lots of spectators in this area. Just gotta mind the exit here. Oh boy, do ya.
Just want to... Oh, we got another battle here. That's still Robertson, Carwile, and Giebler. Giebler thinking about putting some pressure on Carwile here. Really love how these M2s just move around all the time. It's the good kind of racing, where the downforce hasn't taken all the joy out of it yet.
Puxtel picks up a little bit of pace. Ryan Carwile can't quite go with Kyle Robertson onto the front straight. And Giebler has a pretty good lap right there, within 1/10 of his personal best.
But our eagle-eyed viewers will have picked out that other purple number that just popped up there. And I'll throw it to the front of the field because Michael Polasek is losing ground. Just a little bit, but losing ground to Ryan Puckdahl in second, who has turned what was a 2-second gap just a few laps ago into a 1.3-second gap as they come around the corner under the Corvette bridge there. And I think Puckdahl's actually starting to pressure for the lead here. If he can just sniff some of that draft, I have a feeling he might be on the rear bumper of Polasek. Toot sweet. That means real soon, David Haynes.
That's it. I've done the research. So Gandalf says look to the east, but they say look to the west in Defying Gravity in Wicked. And look to the west we must, because rain has begun to fall on the carousel and on the bend. Headlights on for the race leader Michael Polasek. Ryan Puckdahl struggling, and we'll see. There is rain coming, more rain to come. This will be challenging with 22 minutes to go, because if it just sprinkles, you don't pit, but if it becomes torrential, then surely you must.
Knowing where the line is going to be important. And we've got the nice little radar display in our booth, but these guys don't. So they might not know exactly how fast this rain is going to show up. And it looks like both our leaders have decided to carry on.
So last lap from Michael Polasek was a 2:28.9. Encounters
Ooh.
a little bit of traffic and some rain. It becomes a 2:29.5.
And our third place driver has decided to enter the pits. If the guys ahead are doing one thing, you do the other, Haynes.
It's a roll of the dice for Jared Collins. Surely this is to put a different set of tyres on and hope that he can undercut the rest of them. He's the only driver pitting in here in the top 10. The rest of them have gone by. Oh no, Jared Collins speeding on pit lane. This is not going to be a quick stop.
That's brutal. And after a really strong, consistent season with that move, I think Collins taking himself out of consideration for this one.
Pucktill still needs to see the checkered flag, and he stayed out on the slicks as the rain begins to fall, at least at this point. Some other drivers have come in. Tim Wyatt, Orlando Herald, and Andy Kosick. Surely thinking about a different set of tyres. The rain is clearly spreading. Now you're seeing some here at turn 5, seeing some at the Corvette Bridge. It's still the western half of the circuit, which is predominantly the carousel, the bend towards Canada Corner, where the rain is beginning from.
But if you look at the bend right now, there's no water coming down. Little pocket in the rainstorm.
7 seconds for Tim Wyatt, 39 seconds for Orlando Herald. Combined with the pit lane transit time, it's a more than a minute decision to make the tyre swap. So with about 8 laps left, you need the people on slicks to be losing at least 8 or 9 seconds per lap, and it's time to shine, Matt McGee.
Yeah, I think no tires is the move right now, but we'll see how it looks in a few laps here. Just seeing a little bit of a sprinkle around Canada Corner, but the rest of the track's still looking pretty dry.
Orlando Herald's got a meatball flag on his pit exit. Something's gone wrong for Herald. That's a very sad looking BMW. Another one where the front is no good. Oh, so is that wide out of 1?
Yeah, that was one of those expensive mistakes. We'll see it here.
You're on a new, cold, wet set of tires. Grass, gravel, bang.
Yeah, glad I'm not on the pit crew for that one. Robertson and Carwile getting close together here with Ian Keebler not too far behind. This is now the battle for the podium with Robertson holding third place. Water now entering turn 5. These guys come to the end of the straight at 145 miles an hour only to run into a wall of rain.
Yeah, you could see it. You could see sort of that misty rain over the crest as they were heading towards turn 5. It was dry out at turn 3, but it is raining there at 5. Raining a little bit at the top of the hill here. So for everyone who's gone to wet tyres, they are praying, fingers crossed, that the rain either makes it very difficult or near uncontrollable for these other drivers, because with a 30-second drive down pit lane and 37 seconds to change tyres, it is more than a minute costly to have made that second pit stop.
Yeah, you got to be real fast on your wet tires. And I don't think we're seeing that just yet. Last time by, our leader was a 2:29, which was less than a second off his best. We'll see what that looks like this time by. Pretty plain sectors so far, but nothing that makes me think they're going to be losing more than a second.
I wonder if anyone else pits this time around, because as I look at it, I think maybe you are going to eventually need those wet tyres, but a few have gone just a tiny bit too early. Definitely Matt McGee went too early, but have Tim Wyer, Jared Collins, Andy Cossack gone a tiny bit too early. Michael Polasek stays out with a 2:31. Now we need to see that come down into sort of 2-minute 40s or slower and quickly to that's kind of becomes the crossover point mathematically.
Kevin Glass might have timed it right. He's hoping so.
I have read his messages in the Discord for the ChampCar iRacing series, and I'm not sure he's convinced he's timed anything correctly today. He's not entirely pleased with himself.
Polasek kicking up a bit of spray as he heads into turn 5. So I think they all are down this straight now. So the rain has arrived. It's still a little bit misty, but they're going to run into the hardest stuff still coming from the west, coming from the carousel and the bend sort of section of the track is where it'll be wettest.
Sennhauser split strategy as Cameron Sennhauser pits, but Logan Sennhauser stays out. Byron Hayes and Kevin Collins also bite the bullet on a second pit stop. Things are starting to look a little treacherous in a couple of these groups as the pace of the race has dropped away 2 or 3 seconds per lap based on this sprinkling rain, and yet could be more as both the rain intensifies and the cumulative of the rain grows.
Polasek's down 4 seconds through the last 2 sectors, so it's happening. The track is getting real wet right now.
It's been exciting watching. Yeah, part of it also perhaps a tiny hint of traffic. Kyle Roberts and Ryan Carwile very close. Sean Roberts picks up a meatball flag. Where and how has that happened? Things are becoming dramatic in the final 15 minutes of the season. Polasek down the inside, breaking off the line, and do you know what? It's the Kevin Glass special for Sean Roberts, I think. How wet do you want that ripple strip to be? Answer, very. Nose comes off. You got to have headlights. You got to have a front bumper. Roberts is headed for a second pit stop, whether he likes it or not, and it's going to be for wet tyres.
Our race leader just tested the rumble strips that time by, but he didn't find him that wet at all. He's going to stay out for another lap. And with only
Ryan
14 minutes to go.
Cool.
Ooh. Got Pucked up going to the wets. So how much worse is it?
Lap time crossover was sort of 2:38-ish. So then you need an advantage on that on the wet tyres. Probably need the slick guys to be down to sort of 2:45s. Need some slick tired cars to stay out here to give us an idea. Ryan Carwile goes from a 2:32 last lap to a 2:38 this lap. Giebler loses about 7 seconds compared to last lap. So it's happening, and this rain is not letting up. So eventually it continues to pool and puddle. With a static rain, the cumulative amount that has fallen continues to grow and the track gets wetter.
Look at Collins. Look at Jared Collins. He's in 16th right now after that penalty, but he's just lost 4 seconds coming under the Corvette bridge, and he's sliding. It's a lazy slide before the carousel, and that's a fast driver. That's someone who knows their way around this track. The rain is treacherous right now, and we've got our race leader in the middle of it. Michael Polasek is tapping on the brakes, just trying to keep the thing pointed the right way right now.
I'd never noticed that these cars have rain lights, but boom, they do, and they're on. So the race director has declared the circuit wet. You've got drivers off in many places, other drivers in search of wet tyres that will hopefully buy them more grip. We're looking at Ryan Carwile. This is what slick tyres looks like right now, and he is absolutely averaging time, it would seem. So I think wet tyres is the call, but the answer is, did a couple go a few laps too early? The comparison is Michael Polasek, slick tyres. Highest running car on wet tyres right now is Ryan Pucktel. So I don't know if we can get a Polasek-Pucktel comparison, but that would tell you where the difference in speed is.
Polasek a 24.7 through the second sector. Pucktel a 25.6.
Bottom left, that time that is shrinking rapidly is Pucktel to 4th place, Caden Parks Miller on slicks. So that's coming down, a second every corner.
Puckdale's made 1.3 and now almost no time at all through the third sector on Polisek. So Polisek still putting in the laps and isn't going to take the pit lane this time by either. So Polisek's rolling the dice. Figures the 1 minute is worth it with about 11 minutes to go.
Caden Parks-Miller was on slicks, was being caught by Ryan Puckdale, and is now in the wall on the exit of the carousel. So it's just... Oh, yeah, just finds it's a bit too wet there. You can't go that quick when the track's wet, and it's damage for Parks-Miller. So Ryan Puckdale's now up into 4th place on his wet tyres, but 1 minute and 8 seconds behind the lead. But I think we've just seen that even if you're trying to be careful and you're willing to give up some time, it is now dangerous on slick tyres rather than just slow.
Carwile and Giebler are out on slicks though, still running 2nd and 3rd, 20 seconds off the leader. And Polisek is putting on a masterclass in the rain right now. Using those wet lines, Haynes. I've read about those.
Very nice. Oh, that's gone. Oh. That's Ryan Carwile. He's out of too wet at turn 5. He's gone 360, 720, deep into the runoff. Ryan Puckdale's going to go past him and into the top 3. Caden Parks-Miller stops because he had to based on the damage. No, wait, no, not yet. No, Puckdale's still significantly further back. That's the difference. That's the pit stop loss. Kyle can afford 1 or 2 more of those, but the rain is coming down ever increasingly heavier, and I think that's looking like aquaplaning for those on slicks now, which moves beyond at all controllable. I guess if you're anyone but Michael Polisek, his Polisek on slicks. Cars that Polisek has lapped are on wets behind.
And through the first 2 sectors, Puckdale is gaining, or sorry, Polisek is still gaining time on Puckdale.
Canada corner. Oh, that's Orlando Herald. Ouch.
Yeah, that's expensive.
16th, 17th battle for position. Brian Tidd and Matt McGee is what's behind Michael Polisek. They're both on wet tyres. Matt McGee for the longest time. Brian Tidd on some slightly newer ones. So the comparison of them versus Michael Polisek is indeed very interesting, as they have so much more confidence through the final corner there. Maybe you shouldn't. And Michael Polisek stays out. Last lap, 2:42. About to cross the timing line now. Michael Polisek will set a 2:49. And if that trend continues and the next lap is 7 seconds slower again, then you start looking at the final lap going, yikes. Turn 1 goes to the right-hand side and Michael Polisek just finds enough grip on the front tyres to make the car turn just in time.
The clock watchers with me, Puckdale is still making up some time, but man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of ground to make up unless Polisek makes some sort of error here. But I think the podium places might be in play. We still got Giebler and Carwile, who are 20 and 30 seconds up the road from Puckdale right now.
So how early do you have to brake? It's dark, it's gloomy, the rain is continuing to come down. There's so much spray.
Giebler's just found the dirt in second place right now. Had a big off.
Like this?
Yeah, almost exactly like that. I was going to say Ryan Carwile is following the wheel tracks. And Stephen Hermetz too. Stephen is still on slicks to his credit. True Canadian. Only needs 3 season tires for 4 seasons.
Downhill braking zones are becoming very, very tough. So you're seeing that there at turn 3. Here at turn 5. 500 feet before the corner, Ryan Carwile. Oh no, he does it again. The rear's lock. He ends up in the runoff of turn 5. This time he's facing the correct way. Hello. Is it difficult to brake on slicks there?
It does seem like it. Michael Polisek's having a hard time with lap traffic right now. He's in the bend. He's just gotten past Matt McGee, who's on the... Well, he's racing with Matt McGee, who's going to get better traction off the corner. Let's see if we can get a camera onto Michael Polisek. He's battling with the lap traffic, who are battling with each other. Brian Tidd up ahead. They're too wide through the kink. And things are spicy all over the track right now, but is that the sun, David Haynes?
I don't know. I don't know what the weather is anymore. I don't know nothing. So this is Polisek now getting back past McGee for the second time through the braking zones and the corners, obviously. The wet tyres offer so much more confidence, and that's where McGee's like, I'll get down the inside here, and then eventually finding something resembling grip. Polisek's able to power onto the front straight and stay out. How does the calculation work? Is it 2 more laps or is it 3 more laps in this race? Surely it's 2.
My timer says infinity, so we're going to have to see.
Okay.
But it doesn't look like there'll be enough laps. Puckdale is gaining 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds a lap, but it's not going to be enough to make up a minute. We're just
under
for the podium.
Ryan Carwile versus Ryan Puckdale. Puckdale is just behind. They go not only through the rain, but through the gravel at Canada Corner. And the difference in confidence will be clear between the two Ryans.
Puckdale actually on the racing line, but it's not advantageous, and Carwile loses traction and slides off, inadvertently blocking Puckdale, but Puckdale is going to use that confidence to over him and take the lead away. And you got to think he's going to be able to brake a little bit deeper.
Like turn 5, hopefully.
Turn 1, hopefully. But we'll see. Yeah, he makes up a lot of ground here, and Carwile is showing us just how hazardous it is crawling around turn number 1. And there's a chance that Kyle Robertson finds his way back onto this podium. Only 30 seconds between him and Puckdale.
Yeah, there's
40
Robertson
between him and Giebler. Yeah.
Well, I reckon Puckdale's going to get Giebler the way we're going at the moment. Bowie Sewin and Logan Sennhauser are both on wet tyres.
Ooh, Giebler's just had a hell of a moment at turn 5. And Cindy Pickett's facing the wrong way too in all of it. And I think Puckdale's picking his way through it and making up some ground. We'll see if we get a replay here. So Cindy Pickett's out front, and I think going to have a little bit of an issue. Yeah, sure enough, rears lock up. Inside wall, and that creates an obstacle. The other two get by.
That's damage for Ian Giebler there, and then I think Pickett goes around battling side by side there. So Ryan Puckdale on the live pictures now is getting by Ian Giebler for second place, and then that's Sennhauser and Sewin through turn 1.
Ooh. And Ryan Carwile's gone around backwards again. So everyone on slicks just struggling to the end here. Polisek is all kinds of squirrely. But
we'll see the white flag shortly. So out of the final corner, heading up the hill, 2 minutes 30-ish on the clock. Let's see how it's been calculated based on these ever slowing lap times. That's a wet flag being waved. It's the white flag. Yeah, I can see it, dude. One more lap.
I didn't see it. I didn't see Barney waving a flag. Okay, I just have the graphic settings way too low, apparently. Either way, Polisek is carrying on. And Puckdale is pushing on, but going to be potentially too little too late here. Even as the other cars are still sliding off track.
So Ryan Pucktel on wets has made his way up into second position to greet the white flag. Rain falling down, wipers non-stop, spray ever increasing, but he is not going to find 45 seconds on this last lap to Michael Polasek unless Polasek ends up in the wall or in a gravel trap or worse.
Yeah, Polasek just tiptoeing around. And too wide. That's... Who's that for us, Haynes?
Well, the Sennhausers have ended up, having pitted one lap apart. They're now back together, and then Jared Collins ahead of Caden Parks-Miller, one of the late movers to the wet tyres, but not like it's helping Collins that he's got the wet tyres on. He loses it at Canada Corner. He's going to lose part of his rear deck lid. He has made that thing into a 3 Series compact.
Yeah, another expensive one there.
So Michael Polasek to take the championship with a race win to make it 10 from 12, needs to keep this car on the road for one more treacherous lap of Road America. The rain is still coming down. There's water everywhere. He's at walking pace as Ian Giebler from 4th will be another victim of the bumpy, wet braking zone at turn 5. Kyle Robertson is up into a podium position on the wet tyres. Ryan Pucktel is up into 2nd. Alex in 4th and 5th right now, but Sean Roberts could take a couple on the final lap for Michael Polasek. Survival is all that is necessary. At Canada Corner, there is no traction through the rain, through the gravel, and through this. What was a 45-second lead is now 33 in just a number of corners, but the checkered flag is beckoning Michael Polasek.
Credit to Polasek. Wind, rain, 50 other drivers that wanted a piece of the prize, and Polasek's held it together all season long, and he'll hold it together for one more straightaway.
A winner in the Toyota GR86, a winner in the BMW M2, a winner in the Toyota GR86, and a winner at Road America, and a winner for 2025, Michael Polasek. Ryan Pucktel's decision to move to wet tyres has been somewhat vindicated, but still it doesn't look grippy for him out there.
And Pucktel glued to the track, making it look easy. Kyle Robertson coming up the hill through the final few corners, navigating the chaos quite effectively, and is going to lock down 3rd place in this final race of the sprint season. Sean Roberts having overtaken Ryan Carwell when he was facing the wrong way.
Both of the Sennhausers have gone by Ian Giebler. Bowie Suin's just gone by Ian Giebler. The difference is now sort of 10, 15, 20 seconds a lap. Giebler's struggling to the checkered flag. Caden Parks-Miller's, 11 seconds back? Surely not, with a couple of corners to go. No. I think that's 3 spots on the final lap. Oh, it really is.
Yeah. It's a good day for a drift, I'd say. Logan Sennhauser is going to hold off Cameron as they cross the line.
Everyone after Ian Giebler is on wet tyres, so there's nothing too dramatic to happen, I wouldn't think, between Ken Parks-Miller, Jared Collins, Sean Young-Dilworth. Byron Hayes and Tim Wyer not that far apart, actually, on this final lap. And then Andy Kosick, I think, will be the last on the lead lap. Tim's in whatever accounts for a slipstream in these wet conditions at Road America. That checkered flag will come just in time. Byron Hayes 13th, Tim Wyer 14th. And here is the last car. See the checkered flag, Andy Kosick. And you know what? In the wet, on such a large lap as this, 2.5 minutes, perhaps even more, since the race winner Michael Polasek took the checkered flag. Oh boy, okay. Well,
that was
all over the place. It sure was. Michael Polasek, one pit stop, takes the win, but behind him, Ryan Pucktel with the switch to wets. Kyle Robertson, the switch to wets. Sean Roberts, the switch to wets, finished second, third, fourth. Ryan Carwile and Slicks did manage fifth, but then Logan Sennhauser, Cameron Sennhauser, and Bowie Sewin came through the field late with their change to wet tyres. Ian Giebler stayed on the slicks, and it cost him a little bit. Right towards the end, he finished ninth. Caden Parks-Miller in 10th. And then we had Jared Collins, LaShawn Young Dilworth, Byron Hayes, Tim Wire, Andy Kosick. We all just see over the checkered flag moments ago. Top 15 on the lead lap before you saw Matt McGee actually just drop off the lead lap right at the end, letting Michael Polasek through. Probably could have stayed ahead. Maybe didn't want to. Brian Tidd 17th, Kevin Collins 18th, John Nicholford 19th, and Cindy Pickett 20th. 3 laps back, but still a classified finisher, Steve Hermes. Same for Orlando Herald, 2 laps behind that, and Kevin Glass, 2 laps behind that. Everyone who started the race did complete at least half of Michael Polasek's race distance. Very, very interesting. Road America.
Road America always delivers, whether it's the rain or the racing. You know, you're going to have a good time when you head down to Elkhart Lake. And sure enough, we did. And a suitable cap to the sprint season. But don't you worry, folks, there's still more racing to come. The Team Endurance Series will be starting on Saturday, November 1st, with races on the 15th, the 29th, and December 13th to wrap it all up. But before we start talking about that, I think we got some folks that need an interview. David Haynes.
Second place, Ryan Pucktel will join us. You made the switch to the wets and it so nearly paid off.
Yeah, it was pretty close, but I mean, Polasek, I mean, he drove really well on those slicks in the wet, so it kind of worked out for him as well. But I definitely pitted at the right time for sure. I think if I would have gone another lap, it would have been a very sketchy in lap to pit on the next lap.
So this says that your 4 tyre change pit stop cost about 1 minute and 7 seconds, and then you finished 29 behind Michael Polasek. So you still caught him by 30 seconds, but you needed somehow the race to go a tiny bit longer or the rain to be wetter to make up that other half.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what Polasek's strategy was gonna be. I thought for sure he was going to pit on the next lap after me, but when I saw he didn't do that, I kind of assumed that he might tough it out, so I just had to kind of push as hard as I could.
And you were absolutely neck and neck in the points with Jared Collins coming into this final round. And with the second place finish and that security, you will pip him to that second.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been great driving with those guys. They're quick and made some great racing, and it was good competition.
Not everyone. Well, some people will be glad to see the end of the BMW M2 after this, but I'm sure that racing it in the rain will have changed their mind and they've fallen back in love.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, congratulations. Thanks for racing with us. Well done. And good strategy overall. But we've seen in 2025, it takes perhaps even more than rain to stop Michael Polasek.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know, some extra horsepower. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for a great season here. You guys did a great job.
Appreciate it so much. And thanks for chatting.
David Haynes, I found our third place finisher, Kyle Robertson, lounged around in the pits, looking a little bit damp, I think, after a hard-fought race there.
Yeah, it was an intense race to stay. When that rain fell, I was keeping an eye on the radar the whole time, trying to tell my teammates what was going on, and I could not have fathomed how little grip there would have been just with that rain. I was trying my best to stay off the race line, but I'm pretty sure you guys caught my spin in turn 8, which was lovely.
Yeah, it looked hectic at the end there, but at the start it looked like it was going to be a pretty tight race between the three of you.
Yeah, I was trying to keep up with the front pack, and I just couldn't. And at that point, I was like, let me just do my best to hold off Shane and there was Sean and I think Ian were behind me, and I guess I did an okay job at that. But yeah, I guess to stay lucked into this podium, but sometimes you gotta be lucky, than fast.
It's a tricky car to drive, that M2. Where do you fall on it? Are you one of the proponents or good riddance?
No, I mean I'm one of the I guess like I wouldn't call myself a proponent, but I'm not gonna say good riddance. It's more like we have to drive this car. Everybody's in the same boat, so I'm not really gonna complain. I'm gonna just learn my best to drive what's set out in front of us. It's an interesting car for sure, but I mean it is what it is. We like I said, we're all dealing with it.
You dealt with it pretty well. You dealt with them all pretty well this season. Fourth place in the points this year, all said and done. How's that feel?
It feels good. It feels good. I think I've been racing you guys now for what 3 years. And I just feel like I keep raising my game every season, and every season I do that, more people come along to show me that I still got to get better. So it's been it's been interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna be upset with a fourth in points because the guys that are behind are rapid. So I'm pleased with it. Just now I know for next season I definitely got to try and find another 3 to 5 tenths for sure.
Don't we all? Don't we all? You going to be putting in a team for the endurance series there?
Oh yeah, you guys know you'll definitely see us. We're gonna have multiple cars running. We love having the drivetrain cars out there.
That was the correct question. Was how many cars?
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
Exactly. Shoot, I don't even know how many cars we're gonna have yet. I'm hoping at least 3. We'll see. With 2 drivers each. We're growing our team day by day. Actually, we have Caden Parks Miller. He's actually one of our rookie team drivers that we have. That's why he has that white, green, and black livery. So you guys see that. That's one of our rookie team now. Yeah, so like I said, we're growing and we're trying to bring all our drivers to this series as part of our Sim to Reality program we got going on, and make sure that they get exposed to the great drivers in here, because when you get out to the track, he's racing the same people in the real life series.
He looked pretty good today in his race there, and yeah, the whole team's looked good this year. Thanks for coming out, and thanks for making us part of all that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having the series. Our I guess team owner Andre, he makes it a requirement that we do this. It means that much to us, and yeah, just looking forward to the Enduro series coming up.
Looking forward to seeing you on track. Well, we'll see you soon. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
There's one more person left to speak to, and it's not just the race winner. It's our 2025 champion, drumroll, fireworks, whatever, Michael Polisek. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a very interesting race. At the start, it was very difficult to try and lead the field and pull enough of a gap to the point where Jared and Ryan were unable to make a move on me. Fortunately, I was able to do that, even though I wasn't able to break the draft. And then after that, it was just a matter of keeping the distance to Ryan. He was really, really fast, and it was a struggle trying to keep that 2-second gap. Unfortunately, I made a mistake, and he started to close in, and with the very powerful draft of these cars, once you're in it, if you're relatively similar pace, it's very easy to catch up to the cars ahead. So I was preparing myself for a battle. Fortunately, I got very lucky with the lap traffic. And once the rain came, I saw Ryan pit. And at that point, I realized I messed up and I was committed to staying on slicks. It was very scary driving on those tires, but fortunately, I was able to tough it out and secure the win.
Do you know who Scott Pye is?
This is a deep pull.
I do not, unfortunately.
Okay, well, your off-season required watching is the third race of V8 Supercars at the Australian Grand Prix in 2018, where it rained halfway through, and the winner was on slicks, going 25 seconds a lap slower than everyone else who pitted for wets. So that's your homework. Setting our champion homework. You've been racing in the ChampCar Endurance Series this year, and I'm guessing that's also going to be a goal for 2026.
Yep, 2026. I'm going to be eyeing the national championship round at Watkins Glen. Hopefully, I can find a seat there. I'm probably going to run it with Rockwell, and I'm looking forward to competing in that and hopefully doing very, very well. I've never driven a 24-hour in real life before, so it's probably going to be a bit of an adjustment, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really going to enjoy it.
How about Pocono on your schedule?
Pocono, I'm not 100% sure. If I'm going to be doing any more rounds this year, I'm going to be doing it. I'm probably going to do the Sebring round this year. Next year, if Pocono's, then I haven't checked the schedule. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that, but we'll see.
So overall, give us some summary thoughts after 12 rounds of the championship, 3 cars at a whole host of tracks that are predominantly well known to the ChampCar Endurance Series. How have you found it?
It's definitely a lot of fun. There's a lot of really good competition. I've had lots of close racing with a bunch of different people. Jared, Ryan, Josh Soto, and plenty of others. The community is great. The series is great. And I'm looking forward to competing next year.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Our champion, Michael Polasek, and I think today's drive is symptomatic, something of the way he's driven all season, where they've raced him close, but he's always had that one extra little thing in his back pocket to give him 10 wins from 12 races, even as we've had very competitive large fields.
Yeah, he's put on an impressive performance, but we've seen impressive performances before, and we'll see if he's still got it in the next season of the Endurance Series or in the next year of the ChampCar iRacing Sprint Series. I got to say, I enjoyed this one, David Haynes, and I look forward to seeing what these drivers do for us next.
Between now and the end of the year, there's 4 team endurance races. You've got to get yourself and a friend together. Make your choice from 3 GT4s. It's Daytona International Speedway, VIR, Road America, and Sebring. That is 4 very, very exciting and popular tracks. Prizes to be won there as well, and it will be live on ChampCar Live with our HJ coverage. To wrap up the regular season, though, it has been a treat, and we offer our congratulations again to Michael Polasek, lifting the bar once more, raising it higher in 2025. I've been David Haynes with Devin Peters and Michael Derby in production with me. Until we see you next November 1st, it's been our pleasure to put on the ChampCar iRacing series.